Hey, just wanted to follow up with last weekend and obviously the first two games with not starting over, but a different type of attack without Sharice. Uh, how are things going now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a good week. Obviously disappointed we couldn't pull off at least a win this past week. Looking back at the film and just kind of regrouping and, played Colorado great. That matchup, we just had some empty possessions late in that game. Obviously lost sight of their best 3-point shooter a couple of times, but it showed our ability. It showed we left a lot of points out there. I mean, some layups by a lot of different people, multiple layups, I would say. And we take those shots any day of the week. We could get them. So sad that we couldn't pull off that win against Colorado. And when you play against a Utah team that plays just such a fast system, and I think we were a little, our legs kind of got the best of us a little bit in that fourth quarter. Again, two teams pulled away, I think, because of a little bit of depth and because of us trying to figure out how we're going to play and those extra minutes now, not having Charlize 35 minutes a game, it spreads it out. And now some people are having to do a little bit more than they were doing before. So that's where we are still. We're still trying to figure out how we can maintain, consistency throughout an entire game. Need our guard game and our bench to perform at a higher level than I think we did this weekend. That could be Alex coming in and getting us some points, Jenna Villa, being steady, Kira Gardner. All those guys need to come in and really be, help us get some points on the board when they come in. And like I said before, we have Jessica Clark too. Got to find some ways to be able to play maybe two bigs together at the same time to help us again stretch our bench and save some legs, I think, throughout the weekends.
It doesn't get any easier, does it?
It does not. It does not.
Yeah.
Just excited about Cal. Obviously, that's the next one up. I think our team is, they I think they left that weekend. It's disappointing to lose, and it can be disheartening to lose those games, and they take it real hard, but we can't help but walk away feeling like we can compete and have some confidence based on how we played two of the top teams in the league and two of the top teams in the country. So we've got to I think we're in a good spot. Obviously Cal's dangerous. They beat us last time we played, and then Stanford's beaten us every time we've played. So two tough challenges for us this weekend.
Coach, just kind of looking at, you mentioned playing the two posts together. You obviously we've sort of seen that kind of with Bella and with B together. How do you kind of keep using them together, but still find a way to get B more shots and more involved? Because it just seems like she's kind of at that 3 to 4 shots per game where you probably want her getting closer to 8, 9, 10 looks, especially with Charlize out.
Well, I just had, I meet with my players pretty much at least every 2 weeks, and just finished a meeting with B and showed her some film, and that's exactly the message we're showing her and communicating with her, is the fact that we really believe that there are shots out there that she's just not even looking to take, spacing the floor, with the intent to shoot first versus keep us sometimes in offense. I think she's just trying to do the right thing. And I think in some ways, her world has been disrupted by trying to play with a dominant post player, someone that stays in the lane a lot. So, but I really do believe the shots are there. Again, against Cal, I think she had one of her better games and got a lot of good looks at the basket when we were at Cal. So showed her some of those clips as well. But she has an advantage a lot of times when she gets some switches and can score in the paint. But I do think she's passing up a lot of 17-footers and even threes. And again, she proves herself every day by being able to make those shots. So we need her to find some attempts, because I think if she gets those attempts, she's going to make them.
Just kind of looking at Kara, she's kind of very much, it feels like, stepped up her game with Charlize out. And I think you can look at the last few games overall, 10, 19, 14, 20. I mean, double digits in 6 straight games, a couple 20-point performances in there. Obviously effective from the line. How much have you continued to kind of put the onus on her to step up and take more of those shots and be more aggressive, just needing someone to kind of carry a lot more of the load with Charlize out, and she actually shooting 43% in conference play from three has been your best 3-point shooter since conference play started.
Again, I just met with her as well today, so I feel like and I really don't have anything to say to Tara. I don't want to mess her up. I don't want her to, other than I asked her if I need to yell at her for something, because to make sure she doesn't get too full of herself. But I think sometimes this happens with juniors, and for whatever reason, the game kind of slows down a little bit. You quit thinking about the 100 things that play is doing, or what I should be doing, or this or that, and now she's just comfortable. She knows, she's hunting her shot a little bit. She's in a great rhythm as a 3-point shooter, like you said, and getting some opportunities in transition. She can get some post ups. Her patience when she starts her dribble, not being sped up and still getting to a great shot in the lane. Again, playing off 2 feet, all the things that I think we've been really trying to get her to be. And again, it just feels like she sees it now, and she understands where she needs to be. And then on the defensive end, she's been fantastic. Her length, obviously, her athleticism gives a lot of people problems. So really happy with her, and I just give her a lot of credit for working at her game and staying with it, and really taking coaching and playing to her strengths, which again, when you're that athletic and that big, you've got a lot of strengths to you, and she's just really found herself in a good spot. So we got to keep her there. She's got to continue to produce for us. She's a key player, and now I think even her voice is becoming she's becoming a little more confident in her voice on the court as well.
So on Sunday, Tara Wallach spoke about, the team needs, herself and the point guards specifically also needing to step up to manage the transition, playing without Charlize. How have you seen them step up as leaders this week in practice, and how do you think that will translate to Beasley this weekend?
Well, I appreciate that from our guards. They're the ones that have the ball in their hands more than anyone else. So, but I got to tell you, I really feel like our guard game was pretty solid this week and pretty consistent. That's going to fall a lot on AT. That's going to fall a lot on LA because they're point guards and bring the ball up. Hopefully AT's getting stronger and stronger as she goes through the weeks and finishes the season. We've played teams that are real pressure oriented. So we've had a lot of different people bringing the ball up and handling the ball. And that includes Tara. She's filled that gap as well without Charlize in the game. So, I feel like, again, these guys are older. They understand what's expected of them. Tara's just understands she's got to produce for us, understands she's got to be the leader on the court for the most part. And now I think it's key for us to get a little bit more stability from our post game. And that starts with Bella. Bella's got to produce every single night that she's playing, and she's got to get to double figures every single night. And I do think that the challenge for B is to find more shot opportunities and get more scoring punch from her. Again, and I don't just put it on the guards. I don't just put it on the starters. I want our bench to produce better, and I think they can. I think Jenna's proven it. I think Alex is doing amazing things for us, and again, I have a lot of confidence in Jess and Kira. So just got to spread out those minutes, and everybody's got to be responsible and again, feel like they need to show up and produce for our team, because again, we're close. We're just we got to get to, we got to somehow find 70 points out there, 75 points every single night.
And then of course Tara Vanderveer walks in as the winningest coach in college basketball history, and I just recently learned, I didn't know this earlier, she started her career right here on the Palouse at Idaho. So how has she kind of inspired you as in the same job at a different school? And what can you say about her impact on the game?
Well, I could talk a lot about Tara. I went into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in her class as well. So feel like I have a lot of connections to her. what she's done for the game is phenomenal. And I mean that from, you know, just the grind of learning the game the way she did at the University of Indiana and going to Bobby Knight's practices and having the courage to ask him if she could be there, and him letting her just because she was such a, you know, basketball junkie. And she just grew into this person and this coach and this role model for all of us. She paid her dues though. She started and she's been doing this thing for a long time. Obviously, Idaho and then Ohio State had that thing going, and then took over a program that nobody had ever heard of, really, Stanford, and then won national championships there. You know, what I appreciate most about her now that I've been in the league with her is she cares so much more about the game than her own. Not everybody wants to win. Everybody wants their team to win, but she really cares about women's basketball, and she cares about the success of other coaches. And she's really been someone that I could count on. And you know, and she, you know, she's even at times told me some things that maybe I should be doing in the most positive way. I don't mean that in a bad way at all. Like just didn't. And her message was, I just don't want you to make a mistake that I made, or something like that. And so real vulnerable, but just really, really wants me to succeed as a head coach. And she thinks that we've done a really good job here, and she's proud of that. I mean, she's genuinely tied to a lot of coaches out there and wants people to put their best performance out there. And so again, that's just the giving spirit that she has, and the role model that she is. And you know, she's a legend, and she's the GOAT, and deservedly so, more wins than anybody. And but I just appreciate the personal touch, because she's more than that. She's not just an icon. She literally is a living, breathing role model and mentor and peer, and what's good for women's basketball and even my program. So think the world of her, want to beat her bad. And, you know, clearly that's one program we haven't beaten in the history of our program. So big challenges for us, but so much respect for Tara Vanderveer.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. And then what can you say about how Stanford, you know, as they continue to obviously stay competitive every single year. You guys played them neck and neck last time out. How much confidence does that give your team? And then how, you know, they've had some breakout stars this year. How do you kind of prepare to face that team?
Yeah, I mean, they've got some stars, and then got some breakout stars. So just great recruiting. You know, they know what they can pretty much go get anyone they want. They really pick their players wisely, fits their system. Obviously, high IQ. Everybody can handle the ball. Pretty much everybody can shoot it. And we played well. We did some really good things, you know, to compete well there. But again, you can't make mistakes against Stanford, and they make you pay because they have such scoring potential surrounding them. I really do think they are in great shape to win this league based on the schedule that's left. And you know, I think they're going to be well into the NCAA tournament without a doubt. You know, it's one of their better teams in the past couple of years. But you know, our job is to somehow try to find a way to compete and be in that game late in the game, and maybe pull out a win. So a lot of challenges for us this weekend as we face Cal and Stanford.
And then we've seen the student section kind of shift the culture, at least at men's basketball games, with the newspapers and the cheer sheets. What do you want to see the student section do for you guys and your program as you enter the last month of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I want the same thing. I want people to really value and respect our program. It seems like every year we've gotten to the verge of, you know, winning a bunch of games and competing all these games, and then, you know, something happens and we lose a little steam when it comes to attendance. I thought our attendance last week was phenomenal from the community. Again, a little bit better from the student section, but it's the piece we're missing. Besides the band and the cheer and the drum line and the dancers, they're amazing. They're as good as it gets. Nobody's better in the entire country than that. They put the noise in the building is phenomenal, but we're missing the the peers, our student athletes, fellow students. And, they need to be behind this team. It's invested so much. It's done so much. It's great people, and competing at a really, really high level. And we still have a chance to do some amazing things this year. We've got 4 home games left, and I would love to have a couple of thousand students come to our games and make this place pretty, unbearable for the opponents.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Go Cougs.